Matt Johnson here. Today I want to touch on something that really goes into the transition period of summer into fall, namely a specific bait I like to fish, especially this time of year. As the fish move, you want something a little more erratic. Fish might have been pressured for the last month or so, or 2 months or 3 months. They might still be holding on classic spots, but have seen every crankbait, every swim bait, all the baits that a lot of the anglers throw at them. So I wanted to touch briefly today on the soon or the now ever popular Shaky Worm. This just happens to be from Mr. Twister, the new Pocket Series Shaker. A very phenomenal bait. You can see it's got a very finesse-like tail. As I'm trying to hold this still, it's almost next to impossible. Let's show you a few applications for how I fish this and why I feel this is so effective. One, like I mentioned, you're fishing spots that probably got beat to death by bass tournament anglers and all that sorts of stuff, and guys plunking minnows. So you want to go through with something that might give them a different look, a different feel, give them a little more confidence to eat the bait. For me, this is fairly simple. I mean, these fish might still be holding on these classic spots right before they make that transition, and they're probably going to start to feed as they get into these areas. So for me, the Shaky Worm becomes a dominant factor in the hot summer months and into this late summer transition. And I fish it fairly simple. I'm using usually a medium action rod, depending on the body of water you're fishing. If you're fishing a lake that has quite a bit of heavy cover, like Lake Minnetonka, Waconia, Forest Lake, with a lot of milfoil, a medium action rod, even possibly a medium heavy, could work. But with some of these finesse applications, I prefer a medium action rod. This is just Thorne Brothers Predator medium action rod with a Shimano reel on it, 2500 series. I couple this with a 10-pound vicious braid, a 20-pound vicious braid. You could use a fluorocarbon. I tend to use braid, cuts through the weeds better, a little more sensitivity, a little more reaction on hook set. And I'm fishing this basically with just a standard Shaky Worm jig head. It could be a finesse jig head, it could be a mushroom jig head, it could be a variety of ways to actually how you anchor this plastic onto the bait. Really no wrong way to do it. Whatever you're the most comfortable with, get it out there, start fishing it. And the beauty of it is that that tail is so enticing. You can let it drop down a weed line, you can pitch it around a dock, you can hop it, you can swim it back to the boat, you can take an inch or so off the tip and shorten that thing if you want to. Very good application for drop shotting. So the Shaky Worm has really become a popular bait amongst bass fishermen. I know you're going to read about it in any magazine you go to, any fishing forum. The term Shaky Worming is very popular, and it's amazing how many times I catch fish on this when other baits are not working, especially when you hear the term jig worming. A lot of times people think they go to a twister type tail, a curly tail type worm, a stick worm, something like that, but oftentimes the term jig worming might also imply that they're fishing a Shaky Worm. So this is a very easy bait to fish. It catches a lot of fish. It's simple cast, pop, retrieve, outside weed lines, deep rock structure. If I go and burn through a spot, let's say with a crankbait, pick up a few fish, this is definitely a bait I'll come back through with and oftentimes pick up a few more. But right now, on a day like today, mid-August, it's kind of a cooler morning out. I'm going to fish some of these classic spots for fish that continue to hold on them. I'm turning to that Shaky Worm, that new Pocket Series shaker from Mr. Twister. Just came out recently. Very cool. Literally pockets inside the bait. It catches water, emits some bubbles. You can spray scents or gels or whatever you want to use to give this a little more flavor and taste and appeal to the fish. It holds it on longer, and away you go. So durability is great with this bait too, but get out there, try this Shaky Worming. You might have heard of it, you might not have, but it's a tactic that you definitely want to include into your bass arsenal, especially as we get into midsummer, late summer patterns, even into the fall months. So the Shaky Worm, get out there, give it a shot, have some fun, catch some fish, and shake hands with those big bass and have fun out there, and we'll catch you next time.